welcome back to the Active Self-Protection Extra channel. I'm Kaery, and today I have a special guest with me. This is Mr. Gabe White. And we're going to, oh, thank you for coming. We're going to ask him some instructor insider questions as soon as we come back.
This is not a paid endorsement, but I am a brand ambassador for Heckler and Koch for a reason. HK firearms are incredibly high quality, and when it's time to step up out of the entry tier, they're the only ones I recommend. You carry a gun just in case. Shouldn't it be an HK just in case?
All right, welcome back. Let's visit with Mr. Gabe and ask him some of our questions. So first, Mr. Gabe, would you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Sure. My name is Gabe White, and I train at the local and regional level and also at the national level. And the national class that I'm here doing this weekend is Pistol Shooting Solutions, and it's intended as a major technical and tactical turbocharging program for well-founded defensive shooters to begin with.
It's a great way to say it, turbocharging, because man, that is so true.
Hopefully we get some skills refined so that it just playing at a sharper level, and then you're doing things, well in a tactically correct procedural manner, which is a lot of what we get that's good out of the tactical world, and maybe transcend some of the limitations that people both learn and are taught in technical shooting. So
Yes.
Hopefully getting out of that a little bit. And it's very much oriented toward the enthusiast crowd. So people who I want to go to the range, I want to practice. The person who has to pry open their wallet once a year and go shoot 100 rounds because they ought to check the box on, I'm good.
Sure.
That it's not a class for either somebody who's new or not very dedicated. It really requires somebody who's gonna actually practice and refine the material. It's got to happen within that context.
I sure am enjoying the class. I wanted to train with you for a number of years,
Awesome.
and this is the first chance I've had, and I'm just so thankful I get to learn from you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. It's been a great class. You're a hardworking man when you do these classes. There's no question.
Well, people pay a lot of money for training. I really attempt to convey the maximum value that I can figure out how to convey.
You sure do. No question there. All right, our first question is, what was your first gun, and what's your current favorite gun?
So I suppose in all technicality, the first gun that I bought was when I was 18, and I knew I would buy guns as soon as I was legally able to do it.
Wow.
And it was a $99 SKS, which was awesome.
Yes, $99.
That's right, $99 self-loading rifle.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Sign
Heck
me up.
yes.
So that was awesome at the time. And I should add maybe first handgun, since that's usually kind of more relevant to what we're doing today. And that was when I was 20 and almost 20. I was about to turn 21. I scraped together all the money that I could to buy a Ruger P95 DC. And frankly, I could have done a lot worse.
Yes, I agree.
I can't say that I love the form factor of the gun, and I wouldn't pick the trigger system today. However, that thing was reliable and durable and worked fine, and I could have picked a lot worse stuff, frankly. That was a perfectly fine gun, and the whole reason I bought it is because I was 21 and had no money, and
That's
it was
right.
like $295 out the door.
Yes,
And
that's right.
that's why I bought it, because it was the most inexpensive good gun that I could figure out.
Yeah, and that matters a lot.
Yeah.
We accept, even as instructors, we accept that our students may not be able to afford what we would like them to have,
Yes.
but when they make their best choice possible, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then what's your current favorite gun?
Well, I would have to say Glock 17 because it's what I choose. It's what I continue to choose to use, and I'm just really not very interested in the guns themselves anymore.
Sure.
I just don't really care. I care about what I can do with it, and I care about what other people can do with it. And the gear, I just don't really care. As long as it is in order for what I want to accomplish with it, then it's fine. And so I shoot a fairly plain vanilla Glock 17 with iron sights. It's not stock, but it's really close to stock. Sure. And I like shooting that gun the best because, quite honestly, it's so simple, straightforward, and boring that when I shoot that gun, it cannot possibly be about anything except what I can do with the gun.
With the gun.
Yes, and that is a really liberating place to be. People enjoy shooting and enjoy guns and gun stuff from all kinds of different angles, and they're all fine. They're all worthwhile.
Yes.
I've been there. I have enjoyed the guns themselves, the gear, poring over the gear, and I just don't care anymore.
I gotta say, I admire what you do, what you're able to do with your gun. I admire it because there aren't many, honestly, I can't think of any national level instructors that I've trained with in the past 3 to 4 years that are shooting a near stock gun. with irons. And so it's pretty impressive to see.
Thanks.
Truly, it truly is.
I'm a bit of a Luddite, and my eyes they're starting to go south on me. This is the first year of my life that this was no longer clear, and I have to move it to here for it to be clear. And I got out to about here, and once I get past that, it's going to be dot time for me too. But
that's what happened to me.
I've really felt like I'm not done with the iron sights journey. I have not mastered iron sights. I would like to continue to do that before I switch off to another thing. And honestly, because of the way my eyes work, a dot is not terribly different from iron.
Sure.
For me. So
I admire it. It's fun to see you work. That's for sure. It's fun and amazing, actually, to be quite honest.
Thank you.
Okay, so what's one helpful hint you can share with instructors just starting out?
That's a great question. I think what I would say is to treat the subject with the maximum diligence that you can summon, and to do every single thing that you can to make your training excellent. Everything that you can figure out to do to make it better, to make it good, to make it excellent, to improve it, do all of those things. Don't not do any of it out of not giving the effort.
Yeah.
And you're gonna shine. If you do that, there's no way how you can lose.
Yeah.
I mean, you will be diligent in the way that's needed for the gravity of the material and the consequences that your students will bear or not bear as a result of your material and training, if and when they are called upon to use it.
Yeah. And the gravity of the material that we deal with on a
meet
day
that
in and day
responsibility.
out. Yes, gosh, that's a great way of saying it. I admire you, being open and honest and sharing that, after you teach a class on your way home or after you get home, you spend some time poring over your class manuscript and making changes and updates to it. And maybe, I'm guessing, maybe there's times where you make very few changes, and there might be other times where you make a number of changes, but you have a living curriculum that changes with time and with what you're doing.
Yeah, so my commitment is to make it as good as I can discern and refine it any time that I can see, anywhere and any time that I can see to refine it. But over time, it's become more stable, which goes together with it's been getting better over time. Eventually change, well, we learn more, maybe change would be kind of continuous, but at some point you reach a stable state, and you reach a state of this is good, and it shouldn't be changed just for change's sake.
Yes.
Oh, that's also not good.
Yes.
Because what that will inherently mean is you'll find something that's good or great, and then you're going to go away from it because you're going to change.
Yeah.
And so it's not inherently good to change. It is inevitable to some extent, and change should be made where it's good.
Yeah,
that's
true. And when it's necessary, only when it's necessary.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
So the refinement of the class was much more heavily done earlier on, and it has reached a more stable place and hasn't undergone a ton of changes like in the last year. And usually the changes are, probably because of my philosophy about change isn't inherently good, it just is. That a lot of it's very small changes. So it's literally stuff like, let's do 2 less reps of this, let's do 2 more reps of this, let's do this thing before this thing instead of after this thing. It's mostly stuff like that.
And it's those little things that make such a difference for our students overall. And for us, for me, I think when I'm teaching, even a minor little tweak that I might do that meets my students' needs better than the way I was doing it, sometimes yields maximum results, which is kind of fun to see. Sometimes I make changes and I'm like, why did I do that? I'll go back to the other way of doing it. But sometimes the way it is.
Well, I think there's a lot to that also, because the quality of a class is in huge part an accumulation of, I don't know, 1,000 or thousands of small decisions. I mean, there is stuff that's big in, how am I going to run this? What subjects are we going to address? But I mean, when it really comes down to the granular level, there are like if I sat and logged all the details from minute 1 of this class until the last minute of this class, I don't know, there's got to be thousands or something that are all in play, and tighter on all of that, better on all of that, that all adds up.
Yeah.
It all adds up big time.
And maximizes our time with our students too, because we don't know how long we get to have them.
Yeah.
And this might be the only class you ever get to have these people for, they ever get to have you for. So maximize. I appreciate that. All right, what's the best piece of firearm or protection related advice that you've ever received?
As far as plain impactfulness, I think that the old school hierarchy of mindset / awareness being over tactics, being over skills is exactly right. Whatever you entertain that you're going to do about the problem, you're going to shoot it, you're going to threaten to shoot it, you're going to stab it, you're going to punch it, you're going to pepper spray it, you're going to talk to it, you're going to run away from it. No matter what you entertain, you're going to do about the problem that we envision. That requires that you see it coming in time to have the opportunity to employ that solution. Everything is rooted in awareness. Sub-second draw doesn't necessarily save you if you let yourself get painted into a corner. It might, and that's what's useful about those things, is sometimes you get painted into a corner whether you wanted to or not, because there are, we're human beings and you have awareness failures, and sometimes criminals do a really good job at their end of the task too, and they paint you into the corner and there you are, and it's down to skills and skill alone. But that's really mostly an exception. For the most part, you see stuff coming in time, you go the other way, you don't even have a gunfight or a near gunfight. Failing that, you see it coming in time to get in a really strong position against it, and you basically set up an I win, you lose situation that they cannot hope to win except through plain luck, and then you're almost certain to win that, and on, and the margins get narrower the further down the hierarchy you go. The more there's a mindset awareness failure, the more there's a tactics failure, the more it's all onto the skills, but the skills can't buy you that huge of a margin. The tactics are what do that, and mindset enables all of it, and awareness specifically enables all of it.
So well said. So I got nothing to even add to that. So well said. All right, if you could train, last question, if you could train with anyone, living or dead, who would it be?
I bet I could make a big list if I thought about it longer, but off the top of my head, it would probably be Rob Latham. And the reason I say that is by all accounts, or by many accounts, he is just the most skilled diagnostician at shooting that there is, by every account that I've ever heard from anyone who has trained directly with him, and I would think that he could probably tell me some things that would make me better.
Sure, absolutely.
So, and I think and it's kind of a tough question in a way, because what I answered with was, who would I train with for the purpose of advancement of technical skills?
Okay.
And if I stopped and thought about it, there would probably be a whole different list of people that I would want to train with for their perspective based in experience.
Sure.
So,
awesome. Well, thank you for time. There's many other things that you could have done with your time here tonight, and so thank you so much for giving us the time.
Thank you, Kaery. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. All right, bye everyone. Until next time.